Ukrainian forces are struggling to fend off intensifying Russian advances on the eastern city of Pokrovsk. Moscow's troops continuing to close in on the key logistics hub after more than a year of grinding advances, which Kyiv says has come at a staggering human cost to Russia. Ukraine saying some 11,000 troops are now trying to encircle the city and the surrounding area. Well, we're going to cross then live to Kharkiv, talk to our correspondent Emmanuelle Chaze, who joins us from there. Emmanuelle, first of all, bring us up to date on the latest, on what is so important, what is so vital of the current situation on the ground there.
Well, we've been talking about Russian troops closing in on Pokrovsk for more than a year now. It was an attrition war until now, and it has been a few days now that the Ukrainian side has also acknowledged that the situation has considerably deteriorated in Pokrovsk itself. Why? Because since this summer, there were some incursions of Russian soldiers within the city, but they had always been repelled by the Ukrainian defense. What has changed now is that it seems that at least 200 Russian soldiers have managed to stay within Pokrovsk city center, and that seems to be corroborated by open sources intelligence, since we've seen exactions, crimes being committed against the civilians who stayed in the city. You know, some people cannot leave those places because they are living with disabilities, because they are too old, because they don't have the financial means to settle elsewhere. And a few days ago, we've seen video footage showing civilians having been killed by Russian troops there. So that's an indication that Russians have managed to, to settle within the city. It doesn't mean that there is no fighting. In fact, there is a chaotic situation, to the admission also of the Ukrainian army. There's fighting ongoing, brutal fighting happening within the city, with those Russian troops also trying to kill Ukrainian soldiers when they are on position, for example, drone operators. And so a very chaotic situation within the city. It doesn't mean it is encircled yet, as was saying Russian President Vladimir Putin. It doesn't seem to be the case according to open source. However, logistics have become increasingly difficult for the Ukrainian defense, not just in Pokrovsk, but also in the city just next to it, Mirnograd, where Ukrainian troops are also encountering difficulties there. Pokrovsk has been holding for more than a year now, and it seems indeed that this situation has become very dire. You were mentioning as many as 11,000 Russian troops have been gathered there, so we could see a further intensification of the fighting in that area.
And explain to us, Emmanuelle, as well, why this area and why this city is so important strategically.
It is a very important city. It was part of the, fortress belt of Donbass for Ukrainians as long as they were holding it. It's also, if you look at the map, it is opening the route towards the neighboring region of Dnipropetrovsk, which is also seeing more and more fighting, more and more shelling from Russians who have been advancing within that region. So, of course, the fall of Pokrovsk, if that happens in the coming weeks, in the coming months, would be a huge loss for the Ukrainian army, which has been defending it for more than a year now. But to the admission of Volodymyr Zelensky himself, the Ukrainian troops, they are fighting. Russians are outnumbering them by 8-1. So the situation is quite tense in that sector. Of course, you have three main cities in Donetsk region which are not under Russian occupation yet. It is Pokrovsk, it is Kramatorsk, it is Sloviansk. If Pokrovsk falls, it means that Ukraine will lose yet another of its key defense city in that region. So we will be watching how this develops over the coming days, weeks, months.